resolved that at this time, Kevin is going to read the following resolution.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to read the resolution into the record for the board. It's a resolution of the Board of Education, determination regarding the cap, and authorizing reconstitution of the Board of Directors of the Muskegon Heights Public School Academy system. A regular meeting of the Board of Education was held at the school district on November 14, 2022. Whereas the board, as an authorizing body pursuant to the revised school code, has authorized a public school academy, the Muskegon Heights Public School Academy system, by issuing a charter contract, a contracted charter, and related documents to the system. Whereas the system operates under the direction of the Muskegon Heights Public School Academy System Board of Directors, pursuant to the authority delegated to it by the board under Part 6A of the school code and the charter contract. Whereas Section 507 of the school code expressly requires the Board of Education, as the authorizing body of the system, to oversee Public School Academy operating under a contract it issued to ensure the Board of Directors of the Academy, number one, operate in compliance with the charter and applicable law. Number two, implements corrective actions when necessary to correct deficiencies. Number three, maintains and releases information. Number four, meets its fiscal responsibilities, among other things. And whereas the board notified the system board of certain governance, financial, and compliance violations of its charter, and requested the system board timely provide a corrective action plan and copies of other documents to address the board's concerns. Whereas the system board was granted an extension to the deadline established by the board to deliver an acceptable response to the requested corrective action plan, which the system board has either failed to deliver or delivered insufficiently to give the board confidence that the system can resolve the board's concerns and meet its obligations under the charter. Whereas, pursuant to Section 507(8) of the school code, an authorizing body determines that a public school academy fails to meet, if an authorizing body determines that a public school academy fails to meet its obligations under the charter or applicable state law, the authorizing body may consider and take such measures necessary to correct the issues identified in lieu of revoking the charter, including but not limited to reconstituting or appointing new board members to the Public School Academy Board of Directors. Whereas the board has determined that the system board, as presently constituted, is unable to effectively implement the corrective action plan timely as requested, and as a result has determined to reconstitute the system board as an initial step to resolve the issues identified and expressed previously. Whereas, pursuant to Section 503(5) of the school code, the board adopted a second amended method of selection resolution on August 10, 2021, that prescribes a process by which the board, within its sole discretion, can remove and appoint system board members. Whereas the board's method of selection resolution expressly provides that if at any time the district board determines a system board member's service is no longer necessary, then the district board may remove a system board member with or without cause by notifying the affected system board member. Whereas the board's method of selection resolution further authorizes the board to appoint all subsequent members of the system board, whether such candidates are recommended by the system board or not. Whereas the board desires to reconstitute the system board by removal of a member of the system board and the appointment of one or more new members to the system board. Whereas the board desires to authorize such other future measures necessary to effectuate this resolution and address the board's compliance concerns. Whereas pursuant to Section 503(7) of the school code, the decision of an authorizing body to reconstitute a public school academy, quote, is solely within the discretion of the authorizing body, is final, and is not subject to review by court or state agency. Now therefore be it resolved that the board hereby finds that the system has failed to satisfy its obligations in providing a corrective action plan. As a result, the board hereby enters a vote of no confidence in the system board. As an initial step toward reconstitution, the board hereby authorizes the removal of current system board president Antoinette Robinson as a member of the system board effective immediately. Number 3, the board hereby ratifies and confirms its appointment of Dr. Rose Hunt to serve as a member of the system board for the initial 2-year term ending December 31, 2024, to fill the prior vacancy created by the resignation of former member Marquise Childers Jr., effective immediately upon swearing in. Number 4, the board further determines to consider, in addition to Dr. Hunt, a search to appoint up to 3 additional qualified board candidates to fill the current 7-member board seat limit authorized under the charter, in order to enhance the member expertise on the system board necessary to resolve the concerns identified in the board's corrective action plan request. Number 5, the board hereby directs that the reconstituted system board call a special meeting to elect new officers no later than 30 days after the effective date of this resolution. Number 6, all resolutions and parts of resolutions, insofar as they conflict with the provisions herein, are hereby rescinded.
Thank you, Attorney.
Would have been good to get advice from the community. This a behind the
At
back.
this time, Dr. Hunt, if you're in the audience, could you please step forward? Oh, I'm sorry, that's me. I guess we- At this time, I'll entertain a motion, a motion approving the resolution of the determinant of the cap.
She didn't even come to the
Be
meeting.
it
They got
resolved that
punished
the
for
board
her
hereby
not coming.
approves the resolution that was just read by, Mr. Smith, attorney.
That's Liz.
Moved by Mrs. Rankin, second by, Mrs. Selden. Ms. Cook, call the roll. Yes. All right, at this time, can, Dr. Hunt, can you come forward, please? I, Dr. Rose Hunt, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education of Muskegon Heights Public School Academy, Muskegon County, Michigan, according to the best of my ability. And if you can come and sign here with Ms. Robinson, so we can get that.
They just lied. She went to no meetings, and they just sworn her in. Then sworn other people in. And they said she for the whole meeting. We got it taped. I got something for him. I was trying to roll out. I wasn't even trying to go there. But that's what we went on. They just all
All right, at this time, we're gonna have a report from the business manager, Mr. Lewis. All right, so that's it for the business manager. Item 10, any comments or concerns from board members?
I have,
Mr. Brooks?
first, I don't like all those activities. This mayor scheduled to meet in December. And I kind of hope that we don't. First off, I want to say how much I value the other members of this board and how much I appreciate working with you. My departure has absolutely nothing to do with this recent flurry of charges back and forth, or stress or whatever. The deadline to elect a new, to file for the election for a board member is in July. So I think in May or June I announced that I wasn't going to run, because in the previous election we ended up with a lot of blank spaces. People got elected down run-in, because that July trigger just catches people by surprise. And I think we had some write-in candidates. I said run-in, I meant write-in. Anyway, it just had nothing to do with all of the back and forth and bitterness. I do want to say that these past few weeks have done a lot of damage to us. As a former teacher in Muskegon Heights, and I mentioned that before we got so deep into this, from the outside we just look like we're bickering. From the outside, people aren't going to wade through all this stuff and sort it out and say who is compliant, who is non-compliant. The issues that people raise about there not being enough teachers, or kids not getting proper instruction, or special ed requirements not being met, those are all valid. They need to see the light of day. That is transparency. However, a lot of the other things that were brought up that had really nothing to do with anything, accused people of taking money. There hasn't been any money. The money hasn't come yet. We didn't even have a chance to take that money. Anyway, I just want to know, I would like you to know that when we're back there talking, people care about what happens in the Heights and what happens to the people in the Heights, and that there is a certain sadness over us for all of the relationships that may have been damaged in the past few weeks. Now, on a brighter note, we had Joe brought forth, I believe, a suggestion that we rename the athletic field for Jerry J.F. Harris, who is somebody that most of us really love. Most of us had known for, well, if you're older, you've known him for a long time. But the field is named Phillips Field. And so I said I would try to find out who Mr. Phillips was. So I looked for it, and I couldn't find any information. And I was sitting next to a 1953 Heights graduate at a funeral, and he said, I've seen that in my yearbooks. So he went back to his yearbooks, all the same date, said it was in the 1941 and 1942 yearbooks. And it was on the section of the yearbook about people who serve on scene, people who you don't see but they make such a big difference. And I was kind of happy for the Heights because it was their custodians and their engineer. So the engineer happened to be William Phillips. And this is what they wrote about it. Our engineer seems to have a very difficult and strenuous job. How would you like to be on the job 7 days a week, getting up often in the middle of the night, firing the furnace for the students on a winter morning? Bill Phillips, William by right, is as steady as an alarm clock. Did you know that he built the athletic field and it's named Phillips Field after him? And I kind of think, because 99% of people that live in the Heights, including myself, are working people. We aren't elite. We rake our own grass and mow our own lawns. And I think it's kind of nice that people in 1941 and 42 thought that they would honor somebody whose service was not just academic. So, and fortunately, I don't have any chance to act on that because I'll be gone. But I wish, if I was making a suggestion, I would suggest that we honor Mr. Harris with the whole athletic complex. There are tennis courts over there and a track and all sorts of things. I don't want to take John Sidner's name off the gym or Charlie Wall off the library, but I think it would be nice to see somewhere there recognition of men who worked so hard for us for 50 years.